Mag, is that where we finished last week? Did we say Rabi'uha is the last one? So قال المؤلف رحمه الله رضي الله عنه وعنكم نفعنا به وبكم قال عليه الصلاة والسلام من كظم غيظا ولو شاء أن ينفذه لنفذه لنفذه ملأ الله قلبه أمنا وإيمانا. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام ينادي منادي يوم القيامة ينادي مناد يوم القيامة ليقم من أجره على الله فيقوم العافون عن الناس الله ومن لزم الصبر على هذا الوجه أكرمه الله بحسن الخلق وهو رأس الفضائل وملاك الكمالات. وقال صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم لا شيء أثقل في الميزان من حسن الخلق وإن العبد لا يبلغ بحسن خلقه درجة صاحب الصلاة والصيام. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام أحبكم إلي يا الله وأقربكم مني مجلسا يوم القيامة أحسنكم خلقا. وقال ابن المبارك رحمه الله تعالى حسن الخلق بسط الوجه وبذل المعروف وكف الأذى. وقال الإمام الغزالي نفع الله به حسن الخلق هيئة راسخة في النفس تصدر عنها الأفعال الجميلة بسهولة. So the Prophet on page 113 at the bottom there after the verse in the Qur'an for the book with the gentleman on it, the other book is it the same? What page is it with the newer book? Yeah, that book's what page? Have you got it? Did you find it?
We just went to 113.
No, it's the wrong page. Is anyone? 119 ish. Find it. It's just before the end of the chapter. So if you look at before chapter 29, a page or so before that, and then there's that verse. It says, "The Prophet, may blessings be upon him, said, God fills the hearts of one." Got it?
119.
Yeah, 119 for the new book and 113 for the older one, or the one with the gentleman on the front. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, God fills the heart of the one who suppresses his anger when able to carry out its demands with sincerity and faith, or serenity and faith. And a herald will call on the day of rising. Let those whose reward must be granted by God arise. And there shall arise those men who were forgiving of others. The one who perseveres in this kind of fortitude will be honored by God with a goodly character, that which is the source of all virtue and the foundation of all perfections. The Prophet ﷺ has said, nothing shall weigh more heavily in the balance than a goodly character. A servant may attain through his goodly character the rank of one who frequently prays and fasts. And the ones I shall love most and who will sit the closest to me on the day of judgment rising are those among you who are the best in character. Ibn al-Mubarak, he says, one of the awliya, salihin, may God have mercy on him, and good character is to have an engaging face, to be generous with good works, and to refrain from doing harm. And the Imam al-Ghazali, may God spread his benefit, has said, good character is a disposition deeply ingrained in the soul from which beautiful acts spring easily. Really, like mashallah, Imam al-Haddad gives it to us on a platter every single time. And then when we consider the rewards that he's mentioned, specifically what the Prophet of Allah ﷺ has said, and what it's tied to, what the thamara, so that's the fruit of patient perseverance on the harm that others do to you, that'll get you good khuluq. And isn't that what everyone wants? Or whoever wants Allah and the Prophet, whoever loves the Prophet of Allah ﷺ, they want good character, they want good conduct, or good disposition, better than that. It's a disposition. Why? Because that's what it's all about. That differentiates the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. There's a couple other things, a few other things, a number of other things, but really, 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 when you look at it, what did Allah Azza wa Jalla say about the Prophet of Allah ﷺ? He said, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You are, truly your disposition is grand or great or awesome or significant, azim. So that really for us is the kind of benchmark in terms of all the deeds that we want to do and all the fruits of our deeds, more correctly, that we want to have. It's not like kashf, for example, as we talked about, be able to see through the unseen or whatever, or secrets, or, being able to read, tell someone's future or whatever. Those things that people go for, karamat, that they can walk on water. That's not it. That's not it. It's istiqamah first, which is steadfastness, and this is the result of steadfastness. A good disposition. Because that's what the Prophet's looking for. That's how he's going to know us. And there's a number of different things, but that's one of them. One of the ways he's going to know us on the Day of Judgment. And on the Day of Judgment, no one can do anything. No one can come close to Allah without the intercession of the Prophet of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. This doesn't happen. There's no way it can happen. So, people will ask, how do you get husn al-khuluq? How do you get good disposition? And even we learnt from some of the mashaykh that taught us, they said, find someone who's got bad disposition and do the opposite. That's even what they used to tell us. So in other words, if we take the words of Imam al-Haddad, what he's saying, and what the Prophet of Allah is saying, and why Imam al-Haddad put that part of it in this, put this aspect of it at the end of having steadfastness or having forbearance, which is probably the better word, forbearance on, with regards to the harm that others may cause to us. That's what makes the husn al-khuluq. That's what makes it. Being able to tie the deeds of another, in other words, the perpetration of an act upon your person or upon your character, or that someone does something bad to you, to tie that back to Allah is what increases your status. But to say, oh, so-and-so he's like that, or so-and-so she's like this, or don't worry about that person, or X on that person, or whatever, that doesn't work. And we read a little bit about that last week. It's that when someone takes our rights in that way, we're not making dua in the middle of the night, Ya Allah, destroy them, Ya astaghfirullah alayhi. That's not what it is. It's the forbearance. The forbearance, even ask good for them, Ya Allah, guide them, Ya Allah, fix their state. If they take something from me, maybe they needed it more than me. All the things we mentioned last week. And the result of that, husn al-khuluq. And if we look at what the Prophet went through, alayhi salatu wasalam, if we look at what he said, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ ابْتِلَاءً الْأَنْبِيَاء ثُمَّ الْأَمْثَلُ الْأَمْثَلُ. The people who suffer the most, are the prophets. Then those who are like them, and then those who are like the prophets. So really, if you want to live a prophetic life, you've got to cop it. Really. That's the reality. And where are you really copying it? Remember we spoke about it before, a couple of 3 weeks ago? What are you really copying? What's getting hurt?
Your ego.
Right, emotions. Feelings. Someone's going to hurt your feelings. So that hurt of feelings that we spoke about, that's what builds the character. Having your feelings hurt builds your character. When someone hurts your feelings and you take it, you return it to Allah, character gets better. Yet, in the society in which we live in, pretty much the worst thing you can do to anyone is what? Hurt their feelings. So we're at a juxtaposition in regards to that. We're at a crossroads. Which way are we going to take? And it's not by accident. We're a first world country. We don't hit each other, and we're all whatever, nice to each other. And if we have a problem, we take it to the ombudsman and whatever else. So there's all these systems to help us deal with our conflicts. But the conflict of our feelings, it's a big issue, and that's the only thing we've really got left to get hurt. Really, alhamdulillah, we're eating every day and got power and safe and whatever else is going on. Alhamdulillah. All the basic necessities of life in terms of the physical life are taken care of. And even in a sense the psychological life the mental life that we live in is, we've got things to stimulate us. But what are we missing? The spiritual. We might go on a holiday, once a year or twice a year and sit in the bush or go to the ocean or climb a mountain or, whatever, swim in the creek or see a waterfall or, that's spiritual. That brings you back to who you are, irrespective of your faith. But that's once in a while. That's once in a while. Otherwise we're disconnected from the natural world, meaning disconnected in a sense from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the only thing that's there, that's left for us, is those feelings that we have. And if we really want to make a proper deal with Allah Azza wa Jal, inna Allah astara min al-mu'minina amwalahum wa anfusahum wa anfusahum wa amwalahum, different verses. We have to sell those feelings to Allah. Allah wants to buy it. Allah wants to buy it. And that's why you see the real righteous people, when they get insulted, they internalize it. They don't externalize it. They deal with it. And we spoke about it last week. Imam Shafi'i, they said, how did you get to that station? He said, I listened to all the people that insulted me and I took it seriously. And that's why I got to that high station, because his feelings got hurt, but he didn't take it personally in the sense that, oh, someone's trying to get me. He took it personally in the sense that maybe that person's seeing something in me that I'm not seeing in myself. And if I change... But we're the opposite, unfortunately. We got our feet stuck hard in the ground and our foundation, and we don't want to get shaken. That's why when something happens to us, we have a heart attack, or we pass out, or we cry and go into our rooms and close the doors, or we take our surfboards and spend hours in the ocean, whatever. We have some escape, right? Either it's an escape mechanism to try and deal with it, or we internalize it, and unfortunately, we have a seizure or something, because we've set up our own feelings and our own emotions, and we've tied it to ourselves. We've tied it to ourselves. It's only about me. And then when something happens, it doesn't fit into my life plan about me. So it shakes my essence. It shakes me to the core. And unfortunately, that affects the physical state, the spiritual state. Most of the sicknesses we have, or many, are from the spiritual aspects of the way we live our lives. So when a person, they give their emotions to Allah, and something happens, then they can go, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, qaddar Allah ma sha'a fa'al, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, whatever it might be, as bad as the circumstance might be. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't need time to deal with it. It doesn't mean their emotions don't get a little bit out of control, but it's more contained. Jazakallah khair, that's the right word. It's more contained, because it's not about me. It's about him, and him, two hims, Prophet of Allah and Allah Azza wa Jal. And that way we can take the hits. We can deal with whatever goes on with us, because we know what to do. What do we do when the hits come? Back. Turn to him. And actually when the good things come too, should turn to him as well. And but we're talking about the sabr now. And the sabr al-makarih, the things that are disliked by the person. So if one sets their life up that way, they'll be able to deal with anything bi'idhnillah azza wa jal. And what? Allah's nusra is not going to be with them. إِنَّ كَفَيْنَاكَ الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ. Or was it mustahzi'un? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet, don't worry, there's people that make fun of you, I'll take care of them. Last week or 2 weeks ago we went to Macquarie University. They had the Open Week, or is that what it's called? Muslim Awareness Week? Islamic Awareness Week. And the sisters were there. I was so impressed, mashallah. They got the mic in the middle of the whole thing. They're going, yeah, whatever come, they were spruiking. They were just rocks. Bismillah, mashallah, tabarakallah. They were so firm. I was like, whoa, man, I don't think I could do that. That's not really my style. It was, whoa, they didn't care. They didn't care. And the reaction of the people, because of how firm they were and what they were saying, people were just like, they were affected by it, mashallah. I was affected by it, mashallah. Let alone people who are non-Muslims and not really, they're just walking by doing their thing, whatever they were doing at university. So it's that firmness, even in your emotions. You've got to put yourself out there, especially for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if you don't, you won't achieve anything. You'll always be disappointed. You always feel that when audibly didn't give your best. You always feel like you sold yourself short when audibly azza wa jal. And in my view, that's the worst feeling. Because on the day of judgment, even the people that go to Jannah, they're going to regret. Even the people that go to Jannah, they're going to regret. The others are going to regret more. They're going to say, Allah, send us back, let us namal salih and we'll do good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, you can't do it. So don't worry about them, inshallah we're not in that. But even those who go to paradise, they regret. Because they didn't give it their all. They left something behind. There was that fear. That fear. And then if we continue, subhanallah. If we just go straight to the first hadith. Man kadhama ghaydahu. وَلَوْ شَاءَ أَنْ يُنَفِّذَ نَفَّذَ مَلَأَ اللَّهُ قَلْبَهُ أَمْنًا وَإِيمَانًا. On the same exact thing. He says, God fills the heart of the one who suppresses his anger when able to carry out its demands with sincerity and faith. That's it. Once you put yourself out there, put your emotions out there, put yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, it's got to be the whole package for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Guess what? What's the recompense? It's not what we're thinking. It's not when we think we put ourselves out there, no, I'm going to be like, I'm going to get scared and I'm going to feel bad and I'm not going to, people are going to, tell me off and they're going to, it's going to be doubt, I'm going to have more doubt in my faith. And I'm not going to be as strong as I was. It's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. What does he say? Amnan wa imana. Aman becomes the root word of what word? Iman. Aman, so security in who they are and what they're doing. Wa imanan billahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what we're not doing, the Muslims. We're sitting behind our computer screens or little phone screens. How limiting is the phone? It's like this big, even the big ones like that big. How big is the wall compared to the phone? Just that wall behind me, if you can even see whatever, how much of it. It's tiny. That actually makes you insular. Sitting behind and whinging, complaining like this, don't like that. It's got hearts and other stuff you can do. And that's all. That's our contribution to humanity. That's our contribution to everybody else. We're not ready to put ourselves out there. How are you going to get the aman? How are you going to get the iman? See, anyway, the Prophet he used to put himself out there so much that when the tribes of Mecca used to come into, the tribes of Arabia used to come into Mecca, because they used to come and do the pilgrimage. It was part of, because they still, from the time of Sayyidina Ibrahim and all that, it got tainted and they just did their own thing after a while. One stage they were going around the Kaaba naked with al-Haddad. So when they used to come in, he used to put himself out there. He used to go to every single tribe. He used to go to every single tribe, their tents, me, I'm Muhammad, I'm the grandson of Abdul Muttalib, this and that, and his I can't remember, Abu Jahl, or probably Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl, I can't remember. He used to go on camel from place to place. He used to stick a stick up the camel's backside and it would buck him off. It would fall off. And did it stop him, alayhi salatu wasalam? Didn't stop him. Did he have a whinge? Yeah. He went to Allah. He said, Ya Allah, help me out. La yadurruka illa adha. Don't worry, there's no harm. They won't bring any harm to you. It's a pestilence. They're just pestering you, that's all. كَفَيْنَاكَ الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ. Don't worry, I'll take care of them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, I'll take care of those who make fun of you. It's the exact word. And that's what we're all afraid of. And then we say, why is Islam like that? And why non-Muslims like that? And why we're being treated the way we're treated. We're scared to put ourselves out there. We're scared to say I'm a Muslim. We're scared to call out, if our name is Muhammad, someone was telling me the story yesterday. The guy's name is Muhammad, he's changing. He goes, no one will give me any work if I keep my name Muhammad. It might be the case. I'm not saying it won't be the case, but that's what we're afraid already before we even tried. We're afraid of the hurt that may or may not come. And it may not come, but we are afraid of it. Because we haven't given our emotions in that sense to Allah Azza wa Jal. And if we do, we'll feel that serenity. He says, a herald will call on the day of rising. In other words, a caller. Let those whose reward must be granted by God. In other words, ajruhum ala Allah. Like, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. It's like having joking around, like one of those platinum American Express, because it's unlimited. You can buy it. There's no limit to it. So if you have one of those in your pocket, for example, and someone else is going to pay it off, mind you, you don't have to pay it off, as an example. Why would you care? You wouldn't worry about work. You wouldn't worry about travel. I wouldn't carry any clothes around. I would buy new clothes every time. Wouldn't worry about food, just buy new food, that's it. Don't even have a car, just rent a car. You have no worries in terms of the worldly things. You have no concern at all whatsoever. Where do you want to go? Get a taxi. Or Uber, is it? Uber. Right? And go wherever you want to go. Brisbane? Catch a taxi to Brisbane. What do you care? Your money's been taken care of absolutely by an imaginary party and it's not on interest, not like that kind of credit card. Saying it's halal, for example. I'm just giving the example. What would you be worried about of the worldly things? Oh, they're building a mosque? Yeah, swipe my card. $10 million. Oh, they need money in Rohingya? Swipe the card. Mahak or not, it's unlimited. Swipe. Oh, there's no Islamic bank? Swipe. There's no Islamic... Yeah, that's it. That's the reality. Right? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the herald says, who are the people whose reward is on Allah? Where are they? Okay, if you want, you can close the door. Where are those people? On the Day of Judgment, it's a herald, it's someone's calling out, or creation of Allah, probably the angels calling out. Where are those people? They did in this world, not worrying about the reward, not worrying about what they're going to get out of it. And then there shall rise those who were forgiving of others. Why are they in that state of category of people that they got the swipe card, they don't care? Right? People they didn't care. It didn't worry them. They didn't get affected by it. Because they knew who they were dealing with. And they knew the bargain they'd struck with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They knew the deal. They understood the clauses, the conditions and the terms of the contract they had with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They knew what it meant. Whatever.
Sure. Just with the first time with patience, being patient in terms of worship. One of the things that will make you continue with your worship is remembering the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
For sure.
How does that correspond with this type of...
That's different. So the sabr is the actual physical restraining yourself from doing a disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the targheeb, the encouragement that you hear from a hadith or from scholars or wherever you hear it from, that gets you to do good deeds. So it should take you away from the bad deeds. The sabr an al-ma'asi. So it'll keep you away from the disobedience and it'll send you to the obedience. And hopefully one's life will become so full of obedience that the obedience will become so minimal that the sabr for that will only be on occasion when something comes up. And that's where the dhikr and remembering those things comes up. Like the person who lowers their gaze, for example, Allah lets them taste the sweetness of Iman. So that hadith, remembering that, will get them to keep their gaze down. So it's the withholding or the restraining of our physical person, so to speak, and also our mind, away from haram. Does that explain it? Oh, yeah. So the one who perseveres in this kind of fortitude will be honoured by God with a godly character or a goodly character. I know this doesn't really do it for me in English. It says, وَمَنْ لَزَمَ الصَّبْرَ عَلَى هَذَا الْوَجْهِ أَكْرَمَهُ اللَّهُ بِحُسْنِ الْخُلُقِ وَهُوَ رَأْسُ الْفَضَائِلِ وَمَلَاكُ الْكَمَالَاتِ. So it is the source of all virtues and the foundation of perfections. So the person who's ready to do that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their character will be completed in that sense. Their disposition will be such a disposition that they'll be recognized by the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in the society we live in, there's a group of people that work on that. There's a group of people, you can follow them, like them, whatever it is on Facebook. They've got certain pages talking about how to be a better human being. So that it's not that there's a dearth of that in our society, but it's not popular. It's not popular to strive to be a better person. It's popular to strive to have a better car. It's popular to strive to have a better phone. It's popular to strive to go on a more lavish location or luxurious location for your holiday. That's popular. Everyone's into that, basically, majority. But not everyone would, pay whatever $1,000 and spend a weekend at, self-improvement lectures or retreats or whatever it might be. Actually, I was speaking to a salesperson today who was saying that they got this new like cream, you rub it on if you got aches and pains, and it's all healthy. And the salesperson was saying couldn't sell it to anybody. Everyone was sticking to the chemical stuff. And the chemical stuff, you can only use it for a few days, and then it starts to give you rashes and whatever else. But the natural stuff, you can use it as long as you want. And it's not an issue. But people, they're not ready to make the change. They're not ready to improve themselves. They're happy in whatever quagmire when I was blind. And the price is actually, it was cheaper for the natural one than it was for the other one. So it's out there though. There are people out there that want to improve themselves outside of the dini things I'm saying. That's just, they believe that that's what, now it's started to be popular. What do they say? Whereas buy experiences, don't buy objects or something like that. Some sort of a statement where they say, don't buy things because things, they're temporary, but your experiences, they stay with you. So spend your money on being a better person, on improving your personality, improving your character, improving your physical being, your mental being, your spiritual and your emotional being. It says the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, nothing shall weigh more heavily in the balance than a goodly character. A servant may attain through his goodly character the rank, goodly character, I just don't like the word, but the great excellent disposition, the rank of one who is in prayer, fast and praise. So he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that's the heaviest thing in the scale. The heaviest thing in the scale, because it's one of the hardest things to do. The Prophet of Allah he's got a hadith, it's 2 words, it's easy to learn. Ad-dinul mu'amala. And this is another one, but this one is ad-dinul ma'amala. The deen is in the way you deal with others. It's all deen. And that comes from good conduct. It comes from an excellent disposition. It comes from being a person who's connected to Allah Azza wa Jal. And he says, the person who does that, they have darajat sahib as-salat was-siyam. So what that means is, when do you fast? Not Ramadan, but which is what? Daylight hours. Alright? And when do you do qiyam? Right? So the person that's fasting during the day and praying at night, the person who has good khuluq will be on the same Yabluq, so I'll be on the same rank, same level. So in other words, what the Prophet of Allah is saying, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can wake up at night and pray. And for us, Allahu Alam, how many of us are doing that? And how many of us are fasting during the day? So therefore, if we're not doing it, what's our only other option to get to that station? Good character, great disposition, excellent disposition. That's what we need to be working on. And he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, Habbukum ilayya ya Allah. The most beloved to me, he's saying, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. And the closest, وَأَقْرَبُكُمْ مِنِّي مَجْلِسًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Those who will be the closest to me in the gathering on the day of judgment, أَحْسَنُكُمْ خُلُقًا. The best of you, the one with the best or the most excellent of disposition or character. I think that, for me anyway, that wraps the whole thing. What else do you want to hear? He loves, I'm the most beloved to the Prophet of Allah ﷺ, and the closest to him on the day of judgment is the one with the most excellent disposition. That's a done deal. You read the Prophet next to the Prophet ﷺ, you don't have to worry about anything. He'll take care of everything for you. Go back to that unlimited platinum card. But that's on the day of judgment. And that's with Allah Azza wa Jal, guaranteed. That's it. There's no mucking around, no question mark over it. He says, وَقَالَ ابن المبارك رحمه الله تعالى, he says that, what does Ibn Mubarak say? He says, good character is to have an engaging face, to be generous with good works, and to refrain from doing harm. So what he's talking about is, what's the signs of someone who has a good character? So the Prophet ﷺ told us the rewards, the fada'il, the virtues of it. And Ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah ta'ala, is saying, what are the things that we can look for to determine either we have it in ourselves or another has it? What did Sayyidina Ali say about that? He said, you want to find if a person's got good character or not? He said, respect that person. If the person starts to think that they sta'la, the word is, they think that they're something special, they become vain or whatever, that means they've got bad character. But if they increase in humility, then that person's got good character. Few and far between. Okay, so basat al-wajh. In other words, they're not mayabus. They're not like, their faces all scrunched up. I think they say like, it takes how many muscles to frown and how many muscles to smile. So the person that they're easygoing in their disposition, their character, their disposition's easy. They're not difficult. No, one wouldn't be intimidated in approaching that individual because that person, they have their smiley face maybe, if you're...
Good energy, so agreeableness.
Agreeableness, yeah.
Energy.
Yeah, good vibes there, totally. It's true, totally. They give off a good vibe, definitely. And they give off a good vibe. Even people talk about the spirit vibrates and has light and all these different things. So that's the vibes that people, auras and all those types of things. There's all truth to those things. So that person, some people everyone likes them. Wherever they go, whatever they do, they're just liked, mashallah, because of their disposition, their character. And وَبَذْلُ الْمَعْرُوف, that they're always trying to do good. Ma'ruf comes from the word urf, which is custom. They're always trying to do good according to the situation they're in. Badl, they're trying always to do it. No matter what people say, oh, this person, they're a bit dopey, mahbul, mahwuz, whatever the case might be. But they're not. They're trying to get with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَفَّ الْأَذَى, and they're not harming people. They refuse to harm people. I was so impressed one time with this brother, he's a doctor, mashallah, where he had a court case against these people, and he was one of the witnesses. The first thing he says, look, I don't, and they're all Muslims, and he says, look, whatever happens, I don't want to say anything that damages the honour of another person. If I can avoid that, I'd be happy to do that. The first time I've ever heard it, and the only time I've ever heard it. Because normally people say, yeah, I want to smash him, I want to cut his head off, I want to, rub their face in it, and well, that's what people say. They're spending money to go to court. Court it's adversarial, it's conflict, it's war without weapons, war of words. So it's a sign the guy's got good akhlaq, good character. And what does Imam Ghazali say? Rahimahullah nafa'allahu bihi. He says, Husnul khuluq hay'atun rasikha fi nafs. Allah. He said it's a disposition deeply ingrained. Yeah, that's good. Deeply ingrained in the soul. Because that's where it comes from. That's the mamba. That's where the fountainhead of it comes from one's soul. Because when one's soul has been disciplined by the difficulty in dealing with others, that disciplines a person. When one's soul has been disciplined by that, it becomes illuminated. It starts to shine. Like metal. Have you ever seen iron ore? Ever seen it on TV when it comes out? It's red. Tell us what iron ore's like.
Nearly black.
Black even. Nearly black. And if you touch it, what happens to your hands?
Stains.
Right? Stains your hands. Stuff's nasty. Right? But how do they purify it?
Heating it up.
They burn it tens of thousands of degrees to melt it, to get the impurities out of it, and they beat it. The old days they used to. They beat the metal to get the impurity. Have you ever seen Damascus steel? They fold the steel on it, they fold it, and they keep beating it. And you get this fantastic, whether it's a blade or fantastic shield or fantastic utensil or whatever it might be. And this is an example. That's how the soul is. How do you get your muscles big? Tell us. It's got a master's, mashallah, in personal whatever. But what's your master's in? Exercise physiology. Tell us, how do you get your muscles big? What happens to the muscle fibers? Other than roids. Don't tell us about roids. What's the science of one having big muscles?
You tear the muscle.
Right, the muscle fiber has to tear microscopic tears and then rebuild bigger, stronger, repair and replenish bigger and stronger. Afwan?
Recover and then grow.
Recover and then grow. Right? So if you don't damage it, it doesn't get stronger. Mahak, wallah. Yeah, I know, tell me. I don't know, tell me. Otherwise I'd have big muscles.
You stay stagnant.
Right?
Yeah, you stay stagnant.
Okay? So, why should the soul be any different? If it doesn't get damaged, it won't grow. That's it. It will just be the same. That's why we say, if someone is... Like someone was telling me about someone in a case as well, how she's supposed to be a mother, but when she comes to visit the families, she plays with the kids and doesn't sit with the oldies. What do you call someone who's like that? What's the word for that? Immature. Ma'akwallah. So someone is immature, basically they're spoiled because their soul hasn't been affected. Their soul hasn't been beaten up. You see people who have had hard lives, there's this kind of light, a glint in their eye. You notice the way they talk, the way they move, the way they've had a tough life. That's why the old people from, the old people that we know, there's not even that many of them left, the way they used to live back in the day. I remember one of the old guys telling us a story. Is once a year we used to have meat. And the butcher, he would get the sheep and he would go around and make sure he'd sell every part of the sheep before he'd slaughter it, because people didn't have money to buy meat. And he'd climb up on top of the tree and yell, we've got meat, whoever wants to come, claim, whatever. That's how they lived. They had one pair of shoes and they had to keep, rags and off on patches in their clothes. It gives them something. They've got something that it's undefinable, it's intangible. And that's from the difficulties, the sacrifices. Go to India, go to places where people are poor. You see the people are happy, they're smiling, and they don't have depression, they don't have anxiety, and yet they're the ones without food and without clean water. They don't have any of these problems the first world problems as they call them. They don't have any of those things because their souls are illuminated. That's it, they live the day, trust Allah, today I'll eat, tomorrow I don't eat, I'll just sleep, don't worry about eating. But ask if there's not enough salt, not enough pepper, too much salt, too much chili. It's a big issue. It's a big problem. And one time we went to India. Had some people, friends of ours there. Some of the brothers, they didn't want to eat chili. I go, bro, you're in India. It doesn't work. And so then people would invite us to their houses and whatever. I said, what would you guys like? And the brothers would say, we don't want any chili. They go, khalas, no chili at all. We won't put any chili. Then it comes chili. And then we go like, the brothers will say, we didn't ask for that. Yeah, that's no chili. Because for them, there's no chili. And they kept on whinging, complaining, until the local guy that was with us, he went to the house and he said, look, just don't put that, just put this and put that. They go, but that's not food. They go, what do you mean? And just salt and pepper, that's all. And they bring it, and it looked like, when you were young, they had that glue in the bottle with the brush. Yeah. I swear it looked like that. I'm not joking. It looked exactly like that. And then they ate it, and I was like, how was it? They go, terrible. I said, well, they don't know how to make food without chili. They don't know how they're going to make it without chili. It's impossible. But they're spoiled. Anyway, this is the story. Then I go, man, just let them, just make your own food. Stop. These people are poor. Like, they're just inviting us because we're from Australia and we're different and we're Muslims, and they met us, and and then this guy would tell his friends and he would tell his other friends, and they didn't have any money. Who knows how many times a month or a year they ate chicken or meat or whatever. They were just giving us ikram. I'm like, stop doing that. If you want, make your own food. Like, yeah, it's a good idea. They went and got the potatoes, and the mince meat, and they break out a chili. I'm like, you guys are eating chili? Like, yeah, you got to eat chili with this food. I said, no worries. You just keep eating your food. 3 days, their stomach was like that. It's India. I mean, why do they put chili? Because it's 50 degrees and 98% humidity. If you don't eat chili, unfortunately, you can't go to the bathroom. You eat chili, you go too much to the bathroom. Yeah, all right, but which one's better? Stomachs were like that. You could see their stomachs were like bloated. If you spoil, you're going to damage yourself. And everyone was like, the people didn't want to invite those people. I mean, I had enough of the chili, but it's India. Like, people eat chili, then one day they go, you want watermelon? I go, yeah, watermelon, that sounds good. They would have no chili, they put masala on their watermelon. And I was like, nah, man, like that was the killer for me. But khalas, that's what the people there do. That's what they eat. I tried to wipe it off. Actually, it's gone into the watermelon. Alhamdulillah, it's hot. You have to. But so, no.
Put it even on the apple.
On the apple, yeah, they put on everything. Alhamdulillah. Breakfast is alright because they just put eggs, like fried eggs with bread. But after that, that's how it is. But if you're going to be spoiled, right, no one's going to like you. No, that's it. That's why those old people, that everyone likes them. People come and they talk to them and this and that because they've been through hardship. They understand. They know how to deal with people. They know how to deal with other people, and it's not all about them. They understand that that's not what life's about. Unfortunately, we have a generation of people who are entitled. We feel that I have to eat. Why shouldn't I eat? I have to have clothes. I have to have the latest phone. I have to have this. I have to have that. I have to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and I don't care about anybody else. It doesn't matter if they're 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40, and. It doesn't matter. When they're getting divorced when? When their kids are like 19 or 20. They live 20, 25 years together and you're getting divorced. Like, why? Because I want to do what I want to do. And some people, they're incompatible, whatever. But that's the nature of the society that we live in. So we have to understand that. We have to understand the ills of the society and the good things of the society so that we don't fall into those traps and we benefit from those things. So he says, it's hay'a rasikha fi an-nafs. What does it say? It says, حسن الخلق هيئة راسخة في النفس. It's that component which is deeply ingrained in the soul. And that's through trials. That's through tribulations. The Prophet, he said it, he said, don't hate, لا تكره الفتنة. Don't hate the fitna. That's all anyone talks about. Fitna, fitna. Everyone, the pious guys, the guys with beards, the guys without beards, everyone's about fitna. He said, don't hate it. Why? Because it differentiates the good from the bad. The righteous from the otherwise. The munafiq or the fasik from the mu'min. Don't want the fitna. It is but that's all we got in our heads. Fitna, fitna. That's the test. Pass and you get elevated. Fail and inshallah Allah will give you another chance. That's how generous He is, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all we got. Fitna, is a fitna. It is a fitna. It is a fitna. Being alive is a fitna. But don't just focus on that. Organize yourself. What, you're telling me that you're in a situation and you can't overcome it? And you're a believer, you believe in Allah? You say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah? You're in a situation and you can't overcome it, bi-idhnillah? What kind of iman is that? What kind of iman is that? If that iman was for sale, how much would it be worth? If there were people who would give it stars on the internet reviews, what kind of reviews would it get? So what's the state of our iman then? If that's what we're always... Doesn't mean we go into the fitna. Doesn't mean if there's trials, tribulations, issues going on, difficulties. Doesn't mean we go into it. No, but we're not just afraid of everything. Can't fitna. Yeah, calm down. Get your iman right, and Allah will take care of everything. يَسْطُرْ عَنْهَا أَفْعَالْ جَمِيلَةً بِسُهُولَةٍ. And then he says, Imam Ghazali, so it's ingrained in the soul from which beautiful acts spring easily. Well, obviously that's going to be the case. And that's even the pronunciations that come off our tongues. Someone swears profanity and whatever else, and they're constantly talking about people, and that's only a reflection of their state. It's only a reflection of their soul. It's only a reflection of their condition. Nothing more than that. And if someone always got dhikr on their tongue, subhanallah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, whatever, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, they're always looking, someone brings up a thing, they always talk about something positive. Someone talks about somebody, they bring a good point about that person. In their conversation, they're always encouraging people. They're always helping people. That's the good disposition. And what do we call that person today if you see someone like that?
Weak.
Right? Weak, simple, dopey, pushover. That's what you got to realize. And just because you like that doesn't mean you should be a pushover, but you understand what you're doing. And you understand how to give the rights. The pious people, they would go up to people in the shop, in the marketplace, before they had supermarkets and malls and whatever. They go up to them, they know they're poor, and they're selling something, and then instead of making them feel bad, so they had, for example, they had a bag, and they know generally the price of the bag's $5-10. They said, will you sell me that bag for $20? They know it's only worth $5 or $10. And the guy will go, you think, oh yeah, cool, no worries, great. You think he's smart, and think that person's dopey. But they're not. They're giving sadaqah in such a way that the person who's receiving it doesn't even know it's sadaqah. They don't feel bad even receiving it. So it's that perception, because that's what we're afraid of, aren't we? Aren't we afraid of being called, I know some people, they're afraid of being called simple. It's an insult, because what do we say? Pushover. Yeah, I'm a pushover for Allah. Maybe we should have a t-shirt. I'm a pushover for Allah. Would it work or not? A banner, or one of those hashtags. I'm a pushover for Allah. To get encouraging to people, to encourage people to be cool, be easy. Be easy going. What do they say? The guy's a cruiser. I don't know if they use that word anymore. They used to use it in my day. Cruiser, easy going. What do they use now for easy going? Laid back. Okay, that's old, man. It's even in my day. Isn't there something more like swag, or is that different?
No one's cruising anymore.
No one's cruising. Wallah, you're right. Too busy. Someone was telling the joke that they went to the, how people are connected to, how bad they're connected to the internet, and the guy was saying, hey man, they went to the janazah, and he goes, man, what's the Wi-Fi password? And the guy goes, brother, I respect the dead. He goes, is that all lowercase? It's a joke. I don't know if it happened or not, but you know. So that's how we're going to relax if we're always on that thing. Always, it's true. We don't cruise anymore. You know. So that's it. It's enough. Maybe I should just tell jokes then, rather than talk about what Imam Haddad says. Right. So we're not cruising anymore. That means we're not. Sorry, man. What are we connected to then? The World Wide. It's a web. Are you serious? We're connected to a web. What does World of Webs do? They do. What do they do? What does a spider do with its web? Right, catches people. They don't get caught. You know what I mean? Don't get caught. So, like I said, if that's all you're worried about, being caught a pushover, that's nothing. What was the Prophet called, alayhi salatu wasalam? Kadhab, astaghfirullah, liar, deceitful, wa na'udhu billah. Sha'ir, in other words, like poet, but what's that in our day? In other words, bullshit artist. Right? That's what it is in our day. You know, I don't know what the word, the groovy word today is. That's 60s words before my time. But whatever the cool word is for that, you know, that's what it means by sha'ir, spinner, whatever, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So that's what they're saying. In other words, it's full of it. That's what they're saying. Sahir. Magician, sahir is like thief, basically, if we want to say it today. I don't know what the connotation would be in today's day and age. Trickster. Yeah, shyster. Right? Stuff like that's what he was being called. We're worried about being called a pushover. Or, you know, simple. Oh, they're simple. Tayyib is like, you know, oh. Is that what we're worried about? That's what they used to call him, alayhi salatu wasalam. Al-Bara, that's the libo ones, you know, darwish and all that sort of business, but that doesn't apply to everyone. But is that what we're afraid of? So we're stopping our progression to have husnul khuluq just because we're worried about people saying that to us, because we're helping people and we're worried that they're going to say, this person's an easy pushover. This person, I'll make him, you know, I'll make that person or make her do whatever I want him to do. Is that what we're afraid of? Is that what our feelings, we don't want to our feelings? That's the reality. Husnul khuluq, to get to that maqam, to get to that station of husnul khuluq, which is the same as those people that fast all day and pray all night, that's the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice, one of the sacrifices that one has to make in order to get that. So they can be what? So the Prophet can say, they're the most beloved to me and the closest to me. Pff, what a payoff. That's like someone saying, oh, you know, like one time the guy happened to us, the guy had his Ferrari in the paper, and he wanted 26 grand. We didn't have 26 grand, but we're looking for a car. So I go, let's ring this guy up. 26 grand, what's wrong with the car? He's nothing. I go, what's going on? He goes, oh, I had a divorce with my wife. I'm going through a divorce, and if I sell it for market value at arm's length, that means less money I have to pay her. I said, it's 26. If I had 26 grand, I would have bought it, but I didn't have 26 grand. This is a long time ago, probably 8 or 10 years ago. So for us, if that's what we're always worried about, pushover, whatever, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to achieve. We're not going to reach the heights. We're not going to reach the levels. We're not going to reach that status. We're not going to get, you know, to be the most beloved to the Prophet of Allah and be closest to the Prophet of Allah. So we've got to take those things, inshallah, from the people and give them back good. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.